Hey everyone, it's Rebecca and this is Read Like a Writer. Thanks for joining me today. I have 3 titles to talk to you about, all of which will challenge the expectations or assumptions that you might be making about the genres in which they appear. So the first title on my list is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This book takes the idea of wizard school and completely turns it on its head. In A Deadly Education, we are following Galadriel, who is a student at the Scholomance. The Scholomance is a school for wizards that is actually trying to murder most of its students. The school is not just filled with magic, but it has many portals to the part of this world where all the dark and twisty things reside, and they often come to the school. In addition to being more high stakes in terms of the danger at the Scholomance, Galadriel is fighting a dark destiny, right? She's sort of prophesied to become a dark queen, and she's really trying to live her own life. And so not only is she trying to navigate this very deadly place, but she's doing it while juggling the pressure of who the world thinks she is and the discovery of who she really is and how to come out on the other side of this alive. So I would say if you are writing anything remotely like a wizard school, you're definitely going to want to check this out. When I talk about this book, I often compare it to Ninth House meets the Winter Night trilogy meets the Hunger Games, which might seem like a weird combo, but it has amazing results in A Deadly Education. I highly recommend this one. The next title on my list is Set My Heart to 5 by Simon Stephenson. I found this book kind of by accident, but I'm so glad I did. It's absolutely been a highlight of my reading so far in 2020. This is adult commercial. It takes place in the year 2054 when a series of mishaps, kind of big mishaps, has resulted in a much different landscape than the world we currently know. One of the big changes is that humanoid bots are now integrated into the population. These bots are absolutely second-class citizens, and our protagonist, Jared, is a bot dentist, cat lover, who sort of very much against the rules starts to malfunction, and he quickly realizes that his malfunctions are actually feelings and emotions that he's not supposed to have. Jared starts to have this very dynamic lived experience that clashes with his bot programming, right? He sets out on a journey west to Hollywood to write a movie that will change the way humans feel about bots and lift bots up from their second-class status. What I love about this book is that it has a really compassionate view of technological future. Jared is an unwitting satirist. He sees humans as mostly illogical and he can't always understand them, but he certainly understands the depth of feeling that comes with the human experience. This book is the nostalgia of Ready Player One mixed with the sort of emotional droid sensibility of Spielberg's AI with the heart and humor of a David Nichols novel, if that helps you understand it a little bit more. What I loved about this is that it's a real twist on the hero's journey. Jared is trying to write this screenplay, right, about a bot hero, but he's also living his own archetypal hero experience, and things don't exactly go according to plan. I just loved the way this book is a commentary on who we are as people and who we might be. It's a story about storytelling and storytellers. If you liked The Starless Sea, The 10,000 Doors of January, this definitely steps into that in a really interesting way. Highly recommend. I really love this one. It had me laughing the whole way through. The last book on my list is One to Watch by Kate Stayman-London. This is a rom-com. I can't let a week go by without encouraging you to read some romance. So this is definitely playing with who we think of as the star of a romance novel, because our hero here is Bea Schumacher, and she gets cast in a Bachelorette-style reality show as its first fat star. Bea is smart and funny and beautiful and fat. The book itself has a ton of intertext. You know how strongly I feel about that. So we get the experience of being a watcher of the show, even as we are inside of it with B's experience. There is a lot of blog posts and text chains and articles. It's a really fascinating way to give readers the experience that B herself is having inside the show. I loved that this book was way more interesting than any Bachelorette show has actually ever been. I can't stomach those shows. And so if you're worried that this isn't for you because you don't like reality TV, I had the same concerns, but reading this book was such an enjoyable, smart, compelling experience that I highly recommend you set those sort of false expectations aside. The other reason you're going to want to take a closer look at One to Watch is because in addition to positive fat representation, there's non-binary representation, asexual, aromantic representation. There's just dynamite female friendships in here, totally past the Bechdel test, even though it's a book about a dating show. And all in all, B is just a really dynamic and compelling protagonist who I felt really, really connected to by the end of the book. So highly recommend all three of these titles. It was a great week for reading. Let me know what you're reading in the comments or what you'd like me to read next, and I'll see you next week on Read Like a Writer.